I love to hear people's can-do story. Everybody's got a can-do story. And when you ask people what their can-do story is, their face lights up like a Christmas tree. And I get so much excitement and so much joy in hearing what people's can-do stories is. And it's remarkable how they will open up. And that to me is everything.
Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. We believe life is about how we react. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. I'm glad you're here, and as always, I'm glad to be on the mic again. Kyle, everybody knows you just had Ride a Taxi at Philly a couple weeks ago, so tell us a little bit about that.
It was an awesome day. First of all, the weather was amazing. You know, sometimes these events unfortunately come down to the weather, but when you get a good day, it's really, really good. I think everyone had an amazing time. We had 400 riders, and we raised $400,000. It was really amazing, and one of the highlights of the day was something that I mentioned in my thank you notes a few episodes ago. Randy Yipe was our MC for Ride a Taxi Philly.
That's right.
And he just kept us all entertained and on task all day. You know, his enthusiasm takes over when he starts talking on the microphone. It was just really incredible the way he was able to infuse some energy into the event.
Talking about the Yipe family, I'm pretty sure I saw pictures, right, of all the kids there, or at least a couple of them. And it's funny because when I think of the Yipe family, of course I picture all the kids and Randy and his wife, but I specifically think about a YouTube video, right, that featured Jake, their son, years ago. And I don't know, I think maybe he was 10 and he was small and just, you know, a 10-year-old. But I saw pictures of the event and he was in a couple and I'm like, who is that 20-year-old kid? You know, or what? He just looks,
I know.
He doesn't look like the same Jake that I picture.
No, in that video, I remember watching that with, like, we both watched it at the same time. And that was before we even knew the Yipes at all.
That's true.
And it's been great to get to know them.
Good people, and I'm glad they were able to be a part of the event.
Sean, as you know, we have an awesome interview today. Adam is an inspirational figure not only to the disabled community, but to everyone he comes in contact with. He lives with cerebral palsy, and he's the co-founder behind the #1 rated keto bar on Amazon, Keto Crisp by CanDo.
I think that's pretty impressive to be the #1 rated keto bar on Amazon. You know, I've never eaten keto bars, or, you know, I know Cliff Bar and a few others, Think Thin, but I know there are a lot of options in that health bar category. So kudos to them. In fact, Kyle, I did a quick search online for keto bars and Keto Crisp, and I found hundreds of 5-star reviews for Keto Crisp by CanDo, and I want to read a couple before we jump in here. Overall, they've got 4.9 stars.
Whoa.
So they've got to be doing something right? Yeah. And this is out of something like 2,000 reviews or something like that. Lisa H. gave them 5 stars, titled her review, "Super Yummy. I bought one of the almond butter chocolate crisp bars at a local store, along with some other keto bars to try. The bar was delicious and easily the best of all the ones I purchased." Another reviewer gave them 5 stars and says, "Surprisingly enjoyable. My husband asked me why I keep choosing keto labeled packages because," I'm paraphrasing, "they never like them. But she's committed, keeps trying, and she says, someday I'll find a gym, or maybe I'm a sucker for punishment. We've been on the keto diet trend for 3+ years now, and this bar is the best bar.
Wow, awesome.
Another one, I'll give you one more, especially because Adam mentions his favorite flavors. This one comes from Angela, another 5 stars. Delicious Life Savers. Almond Butter Keto Crisp. I'm busy, I'm vegetarian, and I don't like the taste of chocolate. It is terribly difficult to find a protein bar that doesn't contain chocolate and tastes great. I found a few without chocolate, but most of them are overly artificial sweet or have chemical aftertaste. This almond butter bar is delicious. So I would say they're doing something right, not only with the bar, but I think our listeners are going to hear in Adam's attitude and the way he approaches life some pretty heartwarming ideals about the way he approaches health and friendships and overall life in general. So here is our interview with Adam Brennan.
We are so impressed by your story, and we're really excited to talk to you today. Welcome to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast.
Thank you so much, Kyle and Sean, for having me on. It's a great opportunity. I looked through the notes and show prep, and you guys have some great topics, and just honored to be part of your fan club. I'm already a huge fan and just super excited to chat with you guys today. Thank you for all your listeners and all your support. It's going to be a great interview. Thanks so much for having me.
You know, I gotta say, we have great topics because we have really fun guests. And I can already tell you've got the right energy for the Two Disabled Dudes podcast, so we're glad you're here. Adam, I can see, for our listeners' sake, you're wearing a hoodie that says CanDo. You've got a really cool background that's got that logo, CanDo. Do you have any tattoos that say CanDo?
You know what? I appreciate folks that have tattoos, and I always ask people, Sean, what's the significance behind a tattoo or a drawing? I have not ventured myself into a tattoo yet, but there's always a possibility.
Yeah.
And definitely, if there would be a tattoo in my future, it would certainly be CanDo. But as of now, I do not have any tattoos.
So, Adam, where do you live?
I live in Southern California, in Santa Monica, a city outside of Los Angeles. And I came out to Southern California in 2016 on a whim to help my brother rehab from a major injury. He's doing great now, but he was involved in a home invasion and had a life-threatening injury where he was hospitalized for about 2 months. He's doing great now. He's a fitness enthusiast. And growing up, I always say this: my brother's my heart and my sister's my soul. We grew up with incredible parents who always distilled in us. It was about what we could do, not what we can't do. So our motto here at CanDo and Keto Crisp is that just focus on what we can do, not what we can't. Basically, that's been my motto my whole life. I never feel bad for myself. I'm grateful to be in the position that I am. And I look at the position where I sit as a unique opportunity to educate, to empower, to show love, and just keep being resilient. And I don't look at it as a disability at all.
You said you're just living with it, right? It doesn't define who you are. You can still do whatever you want. Do you mind sharing with our listeners what it is? What are you referring to?
My cerebral palsy is it, but it doesn't define me. My parents, my family, and friends, they knew I was special, Sean, not because of the wheelchair that I sit or the unique challenges that I have, but the person that I am, the heart that I have, the love that I have for people. the cheerleader in me who always cheers for others, who's selfless every day and always thinks about how can I make other people's lives better. I'm so grateful that nobody put me in a corner. I'm grateful that I have all the opportunities I have, and it's up to me to make the most of those opportunities. Yes, you can sit here and feel bad for yourself. And I always say the folks that feel bad for me or feel bad for anybody with a unique challenge, a disability, whatever, whether physical, mental, or both, they have the energy to make themselves feel better. And that's what I want. I don't have time or energy to say, woe is me. I got to keep moving. I got to keep doing. The world doesn't stop just because you have unique challenges or hardships. I'll get it. I've had many, many hardships in my life. I lost my father to cancer in 2011. I lost my wife to cancer in 2015. And, those things are extremely difficult. But having said that, I'm so grateful for my dad, for my wife, for all my loved ones because they took the time, love, and support to help me, and it was universal. The love, I think, love is my favorite word, and my second favorite word is gratitude because it has great and attitude in the word.
Adam, obviously, you're a person that focuses, like you said, on love and gratitude. How does that play into the business you've built through CanDo and Keto Crisp?
Well, that's a great question, and I love to answer this. I treat our business, although it is a business, I treat our employees, our teammates as one. It is all about us. It is never about me. I'm the founder. I'm the guy in the box. I'm the fire starter of this business. I'm the heart and soul of this business. But it's never about me. It's always about us and how we can build it together. Without those other people, there's no me. Without the wonderful relationships that we have with our customers, our retailers, and our business partners, there's no Adam Bremen, there's no CanDo, there's no Keto Crisp. So it really is all about team and family, family, family. They say that you can't mix business with family. I disagree. If you do it the right way, there are fine lines to everything, but that's the only way that I know how to do things is to do it with family, to do it with love, and to treat everybody with respect and honesty and just speak from your heart. I mean that to me is everything. If I don't care about you, then I won't say anything. But I love people. I'm so grateful that people took the time to listen, to trust in me, and I feel that same trust and love needs to be reciprocated to everyone. And that's how we treat it. It's never about me. It's always about us and the team and family.
Adam, can you share with our listeners about that business that you built? What is Keto Crisp?
Well, great. First, let me tell you a little bit about CanDo, the maker of Keto Crisp. So, in 2016, when I moved out to California, I was involved. Somebody had recommended Adam. You got to meet this guy, Jesse Billauer. Jesse Billauer is a real inspiration to myself, and you guys got to look this gentleman up. He was a semi-pro surfer, and about 23 years ago, he was out surfing a wave and actually wiped out on a sandbar and broke his neck and is now permanently in a chair. But 2 years after his accident, he was completely dialed in and said he wanted to go back surfing again. So, as people looked around the room, they didn't know how to handle Jesse. They didn't know if it'd be safe, but he begged and pleaded and believed in himself, and they put him on a board, and he immediately fell back in love with the sport. And he's like, man, this is great. I got to help other people with special needs experience the same experience that I did. So in 2017, I was introduced to Jesse, and I said, you know what? If I was in better shape, I could do more of these things. And on that day in June of 2017, my brother got to watch me participate in my sport. And the enthusiasm from the volunteers and athletes was infectious. I mean, last night we had a gala event for Life Rolls On to raise money so that this organization continues to thrive for years and years. But it really changed my life. And so at that time, I said, you know what? Like I said, if I was in better shape, I could do more of these activities. And I always like to get myself out of my comfort zone at least, once a day, because I feel that's how you improve. So I started in the pool at my brother's house, doing some things in the pool with a good friend of mine and a trainer. His name is Gabe. And so Gabe and I started working out in the pool, and I was walking, doing some things that I'd always hoped to do, uh, uh, Sean, but never really had the opportunity. And then things started to snowball. And I said, Gabe, what do we got to do? I'm 50, 60, 70 pounds overweight. Not because I was a junk food eater. I just I ate what I ate. And being in a chair, you don't burn as many calories as somebody that's not in a chair. So
Sure.
I really had to dial in my diet. And he said, Adam, you got to cut carbs and sugars. So I was basically following a keto lifestyle, which is low carb, low sugar, higher in fat diet. And the weight just started coming off, and the feeling that I felt, number one, to lose the weight, I was feeling better. I was just had even more of a pep in my step, if you will, and I was just so excited to be in good shape. You know, health had always been a big issue of mine. Like I said previously, we lost our dad to cancer in 2011. I lost my wife in 2015. I always knew how important health is, and being able to take care of your body is critical. And I also understand, what a challenge it is to lose weight. I mean, it's not easy, and you got to have discipline. You got to have patience, and you know, I had adopted this keto lifestyle, and so I sat down with my brother, who's been in the consumer packaged goods space for 30 years. And he's like, Adam, why don't we sit down and create a keto bar? So we sat down with a food scientist. We came up with 3 flavors: almond butter, chocolate mint, and chocolate raspberry. And literally, I would go door to door saying, guys, you got to try the bar. You got to try the bar, and really got into the space. And my passion really, Sean, is people. I love people. I love getting in front of people. I love when people stare at me and ask questions. I'm not a real religious person, but I do believe that things happen for a reason, as crazy as they are. And I was born with this position because I knew that I could handle it. And it's my job when people stare to bring down all the barriers, say, yes, this is what I have. Let me explain to you what I have. And I'm just like you, and because if people didn't stare, that means they don't care. I
Mm.
know people care, and I care tremendously about people.
You have this idea, and then how do you even get to the point of, okay, sit down with a food scientist? How does that go?
My brother's been in the consumer packaged goods space for years, representing different brands. So he had relationships with different food scientists. We interviewed about 3 to 5 different food scientists and just sat down with them. We just said, we're interested in learning more about the keto space. This lifestyle's worked so great for me. We'd like to share and inspire and empower people to live healthier lifestyles every day. What kind of bars can you make for us? And he said, well, what flavor profiles are you looking for?
Mm.
And we understood the mass market of folks loves chocolate. So we had 2 chocolates. My brother and I prefer an almond butter or a vanilla type flavoring. So that's where we began our journey into keto crisp. And like I said, we always wanted to focus on great taste and texture. We understand that macros are very, very important, but equally or more important is the taste. You know, no disrespect to any brand owner. A lot of brands focus, especially in the protein bar category, they focus on macros. And we really want and will want in any food product that we ever make the taste to be number one.
Your lifestyle, it sounds like, was transformed by this diet. And through your product, do you see other people's lives being transformed as yours was?
No question about it. I mean, the lifestyle works. I mean, whether you're in a chair or not, whether you have a disability or not, it does help you lose weight. It does make you feel better. So without a doubt, I'm so grateful each and every day that there's so many food products out there that customers give us an opportunity to be in their life. You know, they have so many choices to choose from, and you know, taste is subjective. But these bars really do taste great, and probably the most important. I say this all the time, and I love to hear people's can-do story. Everybody's got a can-do story, and when you ask people what their can-do story is, their face lights up like a Christmas tree, and I get so much excitement and so much joy in hearing what people's can-do stories is, and it's remarkable how they will open up to me. And that to me is everything. Customer trust is everything. I always say here at CanDo, we are a customer service business number one, a food company second.
Adam, do you guys do anything beyond bars, or do you think you will someday? Or
And no question about it, we are huge innovators. We started with 3 flavors. Now we've got 9 flavors in circulation, and we are constantly working on innovative products. I believe that's why you were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, because the skill of listening is so critical. And we've listened to our customers, and we're excited to always be innovating.
You came to LA to help your brother when he was injured. What's the age difference for you and your brother and your sister?
My brother is 14 months older than me, and my sister is about 3 years younger than me. I'm in the middle. My brother is a father of 2. He and his wife have 2 kids, Bond and Bella. And my sister is a mother of 4. Her and her husband live in Connecticut, and they have 4 kids, starting with David, and Brooke and Elle, who are twins, and then Taylor. And I couldn't be more proud of them and who they are as people, and then, of course, as parents. And it all started with our incredible parents, Barry and Margot Bremen, who laid the foundation, and family and friends, uncles, cousins, whatever. We grew up in a loving, supportive, positive, proactive family.
So when you were growing up, was there a part of your brother and sister that acted as caregiver for you? I mean, all of us with disabilities, there are things that we literally can't do. And to make the most of our lives, sometimes we need help. Was there an aspect of that between you and your siblings?
Of course, they were always willing to help. Although I remember one time I dropped something on the ground. My sister must have been 7 and I was 10, whatever. And she told me, no, I'm not going to help you pick it up. But, you know, growing up, I will say that, you know, there was never a competition between the 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
It was always, I was going to cheer for them and they were going to cheer for me. And of course, they were always there to help. And, you know, the relationship that I have with my siblings, it's the greatest thing in the world. And it is so special.
So you say, you know, they helped you out with things all the time when you were growing up. was there a little bit of a role reversal when you went to LA to help your brother? Now you became the caregiver, and you were helping him more than he was helping you.
It was very unique and probably one of the saddest days during the rehab process was when we took it was a happy day, but it was very, very emotional and very, very difficult for me. He was able to leave his hospital room, and we both took a photo of he and I in a wheelchair.
Mm.
And although I'm grateful to be in a chair, you never want to see somebody that you love not have the ability to walk. And that's why I have so much love and respect for somebody like Jesse Billauer and all those other folks, my buddy Mark Strohmeyer, who was involved in a serious accident. And one day they have everything being able to walk, and then the next day it's taken away. And I'm always so impressed and so inspired by their resiliency to get up off the mat and continue to fight after such a debilitating accident. My brother is a fitness enthusiast, loves to work out. I grew up idolizing his every move and cheering for every sporting event I would go to. And like I said earlier in the podcast, my brother's my heart and my sister's my soul. And to see him in a wheelchair was an extremely, extremely difficult thing for me. However, I'm so, so grateful for obvious reasons that he's doing great now. And it's to be in business with my brother was always a dream come true. My dad actually started uh, setting the groundwork for it. My brother represents brands from snack bars all the way to e-mobility at Walmart. And my dad actually started by going to trade shows and finding brands. And I always wanted to be in that business. But because of the relentless travel and challenges with travel, they didn't think that it was a good fit for me, even though I always knew that I could be in this business. So it's great to see, 30 years later, me being a founder of a brand and going to these trade shows and being on the road. And one of the things that intrigued me about your show was one of the topics that you talked about flying and how to deal with that. And I can't wait to listen to that podcast and episode.
No shortage of traveling stories for sure.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
certainly a topic that comes up with a lot of people because obviously travel is part of life. And it's not easy for people in wheelchairs who depend on their equipment to get around like we do.
I still, to this day, Kyle, I don't understand why the airlines don't spend more money on training their employees on how to handle our equipment. Because number one, it's not a good customer service look when you come back and your chair is dangled up and not working. And number two, the expense that they go through to fix these chairs.
Case in point, right here. They just spent $8,000 just for me because they broke one of my wheelchairs. They had to buy me a new one. And then during the time when it was being fixed, I had to buy a new one, and they reimbursed me for that as well. And if their employees were a little better trained, like you say, to handle this type of equipment, it might have cost them a few $100s rather than $8,000. So, Adam, if people are interested in Keto Crisp and trying out this great tasting, great texture keto bar that you have, how do we find it?
Well, thank you. First of all, I want to give you guys a discount code. It's Adam CanDo, all one word. ADAMCANDO. You can get that off of our website. Be sure and click on one-time purchase versus subscription. You can always find us also on Amazon or any major retailer that you shop at. We're in about 6,500 doors. We're in some those retailers to include are Whole Foods,
Wow.
Sprouts, Wegmans, Fresh Market, Walmart. I know I'm missing a few, but your major retailers we're in. Just go in the bar section, nutrition bar aisle, and I'm the guy in the box. And
Very cool.
my favorite flavors, don't tell the other bars this, are almond butter chocolate chip and a very unique flavor called butter and salt. All the bars are fabulous, but I would, if you're going to try one, try the almond butter chocolate chip or the butter and salt.
Adam, I mean, you just listed some big brands, names that a lot of our listeners, if not everybody, will recognize. Do you remember that first big client you secured? What was that like when you got that call or the acceptance from a Wegmans or a Walmart or something of that scale?
Great question. I love this one. I'm going to give you two. Um, we started off with a little boutique health food store called Earth Bar, and that was exciting in itself because that was our first retailer. Then we went into a store called Gelson's, which is here in Southern California. They got about 40 stores. And then the big aha moment was when we got into there's a grocery store called Erewhon, and it's for emerging brands, and it really is a high end store. Uh, you know, just catered to folks that are extremely dedicated to health. Just a great store. And my brother would say, Adam, go in there every day and talk to the managers and the employees, and just show them love. And like I said earlier throughout the show, I love people, guys. I I'm so grateful for people. I will go and talk to a tree if I have to. So I would literally go into Erewhon every day and tell them, guys, I'm bringing in a bar. Would you please try it? Thank you so much. And I remember it was a Friday afternoon, and I got a call. I was walking on the sidewalk near the beach, and the the head manager of all the Air Ones said, "Adam, I got to tell you, I had a chance to try your bars today. When can we get them in? They are so good. Congratulations to you. I can't wait to bring them in."
Wow.
And that was super special. And then the next one was had to be Whole Foods. We were a regional brand at the time. There's like 50 or 60 stores in the Southern Pac, SoPac region, they call it. And I would email the buyer literally once a week. And she finally had a chance to try the bars, and she loved them. And she brought them in. And I was in the airport coming back from a trade show and got the email and the phone calls, and that we're going into Whole Foods, and it just kind of
Wow.
blossomed from there.
Yeah, it's very exciting stuff. That's certainly you have a lot going on to be proud of, and we're grateful that you shared all of that with us today.
Thank you guys so much. Before we leave, I got to ask you guys a question myself. Kyle, I'll start with you. What is your biggest can-do moment in your life? I'm sure you have multiple ones, but what's the one that comes to your mind, and what are you most proud of?
The moment that comes to my mind was when I finished my first Century bike ride. That was sort of the moment when I was like, all right, the sky might be the limit here. And that kind of launched me into believing more and more in myself and doing more bike riding.
That's great. What an awesome story. When did you first do the bike ride?
My first Century was 2006. And then in 2009, I came on staff at the Friedrichshain Taxi Research Alliance, and we built a nationwide series of bike rides to raise money for research.
That's incredible. Sean, you're up next. What's your biggest can-do story?
I think a year after being diagnosed with FA, I ran a half marathon, and I can't do that today. My legs don't work like that anymore. And even then, they didn't work well. But I got 13.1 miles in, and I was pretty proud of that. That was a big moment.
That's great. I'm so proud of you guys.
Well, Adam, thank you for asking, and we're proud of you and proud to be connected to you. Thanks for joining us today.
No, thank you guys for having me. Have a wonderful afternoon. And I hope that our paths cross again. And thank you for all the listeners out there. And feel free to reach out to me. You can visit our website. It's www.tastecando. That's taste, TASTE, CanDo.com. If you want to find me on social media, you can find me under Adam Bremen, ADAMBREMEN. I'm happy to talk to anyone and everyone. If there's something that I can help you, obviously with Keto Crisp and CanDo, I'm more than happy to help you. But if you just want to talk life and experiences and dealing with the unique challenges of sitting in a wheelchair or whatever your unique obstacle or opportunity is, I'd like to call it, I'm more than happy to help. And I really, really appreciate your guys' time today. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Adam. Kyle, what an infectious individual Adam is. He seems to be a very sincere, warm-hearted, incredibly kind human being. And I honestly am so glad that we were able to connect with him and have him online. And I'm not a keto following person, but with the reviews, with his energy, if they're good, why not eat them? They're a healthier choice. Yeah. So I can't wait to check him out.
And we got a sweet discount code. So, I mean, I'm going to get on pretty quick here and order some.
And of course, that discount code he shared for all of you as well. So be sure to give Keto Crisp a try as soon as you can. Adam, thank you again for being on the show and telling us all about your personal journey and the incredibly successful business that you and your loved ones have started. Of course, we've got more thank you notes to wrap it up. Kyle, who are you saying thank you to this week?
Betsy Wasco is a friend that has done a lot of crocheting for prizes for the ride. So they'll do their fundraiser every year for Ride Attacks at Philadelphia, and they'll raffle off a blanket or something else that Betsy crochets. This year, she crocheted the third Kyle by the Mile action figure. Some might call it a doll, but I like to call it an action figure.
It's a doll. I've seen it.
But anyway, she just keeps cranking these things out, and it benefits research for Friedreich's ataxia, and it's just Betsy putting her heart into what she's doing for other people.
Absolutely. And it's fun too, right? It's kind of clever, kind of unique, and just a really neat thing. I've seen the doll and I like it. Kyle, I'm going to say thank you to my local Subaru dealer, Lasher's Elk Grove Subaru. I've talked about them before. Lasher's and the guys behind the brand down there have been very supportive of Determinants and everything we do, but lately, no big events or any sponsorship arrangements with them, but I bought my car from them, so I take it in every, 6,000 miles or whatever, get a tune-up, maintenance, oil change, all that, and I took it in a couple weeks ago, and before I got there, earlier in the day, I got a text that just says, "Hey Sean, it's Mike Murphy at Subaru, and I see you're coming in today. When you get here, just ask for me." And part of me thought, oh, that's a generic, just text they send to everybody.
Right.
So I didn't respond. I just got there and waited in line. And one guy was like, "Oh, is anybody helping you?" And I'm like, "No, I just got here." And as he was getting ready to start the paperwork, I said, "Well, I did get a text from Mike Murphy. I don't know if that's real." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that means Mike's got you, so come on over here." And sure enough, Mike had everything ready to go.
Oh.
And he remembered me from the past visits.
Right,
He was like,
right.
"Oh my God, glad to hear." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, no, that text is my personal phone number. So anytime you need an oil change or whatever you're doing, just text me and I'll get you in as soon as
man.
as soon as it works for you." I'm like, wow. So that personal touch is impressive, and that's the main reason why I'm happy to be connected with all of the Lasher's car brands out there in Elk Grove. So thank you, Mike.
And a huge thank you again to Adam Bremen for being on the show today. Check out tastecando.com and enter the code AdamCanDo for your discount. You can find other links for Adam on our show notes. So check that out at twodisableddudes.com, or you can also find it in any podcast app that you use. Thanks so much for listening today. Please share the show with a friend if you like what you hear. Until next time, keep living with urgency. Thank you for listening to the Two Disabled Dudes podcast. This show is possible with your support. Visit twodisableddudes.com to donate.
Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app.